Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ethel, and in this channel I talk about how you can immigrate to Canada as a permanent resident, as a student, as a visitor, and life generally in Canada. So if you love content like this, I would like you to be a member of this family. All you have to do is to subscribe, or even if you don't like content like this, please share with those who might be interested in such information. So guys, in today's video I'll walk you through the step-by-step process and all you need to know about the rural and the northern immigration pilot. This pilot stream is really beautiful because it has job offers for those who qualify. So without wasting much of your time, let's get into this video. So what we're talking about today is the rural north immigration pilot. Okay, now I'd like to say what this program is about. So the rural and the northern immigration pilot is a community-driven program. It's designed to spread the benefit of economic immigration to smaller communities by creating a pathway to permanent residence for skilled foreign workers who want to work and live in the participating community. One key thing I want you to take away from this is if you are going to apply to that community, you are going to get permanent residence, and when you get your permanent residence, that community that you apply to, that's where you are going to live, because that's basically the essence of this program. So which communities are even part of this program? So the following communities I'm going to mention right now are part of this program. So we have the North Bay, which is in Ontario. We have the Sudbury, which is in Ontario. We have the Timmins, is also in Ontario. We have the Sault Ste. Maria, which is in Ontario. We have the Thunder Bay, which is in Ontario. We have Brandon is in Manitoba. We have Altona or Rhineland is in Manitoba. We have Moose Jaw is in Saskatchewan. We have the Claresholm, which is in Alberta. We have the Vernon, which is in British Columbia, and we have the Western Kootenay, which is also in British Columbia. Now for this program, there are 4 steps to applying for permanent resident under this pilot stream, which I'm going to walk you guys through right now. So step 1, one thing you have to do is, for you to be eligible for this rural and northern immigration program, you must meet the requirement that I'm going to talk about right now. Number 1, you must have qualifying work experience, or you have graduated from a public funded post-secondary institution in the recommending community. For those using work experience, you must have worked in the last 3 years. You have accumulated at least 1 year of continuous full-time or part-time equivalent work experience in any occupation in the National Occupation Classification, which is the. So I want you guys to know that full-time work experience means at least working 30 hours per week. Okay, so you can count part-time work towards the work experience requirement as long as you have gained the equivalent amount of experience as someone who worked full-time for at least 1 year. So basically, if you are using part-time for this, if you have been working part-time for the past 3 years, and if you add the hours that you've worked, if it's up to 1,560 hours, which means you can use work experience to apply to this program. So in Canada, full-time job means you're working 30 hours a week. So basically, if you multiply 30 hours per week by how many weeks we have in a year, we're giving you about 1,560 hours. So basically that's what you're looking for. So if you work anywhere, even though it's part-time, but if it's part-time, make sure it's within the last 3 years, and if it's full-time, well, that's fine as well. Next thing you have to pay attention to is that you must have performed the action in the lead statement of the NOC. So in Canada, there are different NOCs. For example, if we have NOC 300, there are job descriptions under that NOC 300. So for you to qualify for any job you are applying to, you should pay attention to those job descriptions, and you must address it to the employer and also make them understand that you have worked or performed those duties. You have performed a substantial number of main duties for the NOC, including all the essential duties. You worked, your work experience must be from paid job, not volunteering or unpaid internship. You worked overseas or in Canada as long as you were legally authorized to work in Canada as a temporary resident. So even though you've worked in Canada, there is a clause there. If you worked maybe under the table job, you know, you can use that. Number 2, you must meet or exceed the language requirements. So the minimum language requirement for each NOC category are for NOC 0 and A. So your CLB or your NCLC should be 6. That's the minimum they can take. Now for NOC B, your CLB or your NCLC should be 5. For NOC C and D, your CLB and your NCLC should be a minimum of 4. So the list for all these NOC I've mentioned, you should pay attention and make sure that your English meets or exceed the minimum requirement for these NOCs that I have mentioned right now. Now the next thing is you have to meet or exceed the educational requirement. So you must have a Canadian secondary school or high school diploma or a post-secondary certificate diploma or a degree. Or if you are an international, maybe you schooled outside of Canada, you must have an educational credential assessment that you can do with WES. You must have the report from a designated organization or a professional body showing that you completed a foreign credentials. You've completed a foreign credential that's equal to a Canadian secondary school or high school or postgraduate certificate, diploma or degree, and your educational credential assessment report must be within the past. Oh my God! And your your educational credential assessment report must be less than 5 years old on the day of your application. This wasn't the case before, so things are beginning to change gradually. So you guys, if you're interested in any of these programs I talk about on this channel, one thing I always tell people is to get their credential assessed, because I don't know which part of the world that you are in, but if you graduated from, you know, somewhere that they don't often or use email, you know, to communicate, because these guys use email to communicate to school to verify that actually you went to their school. This is something you should actually start on time, because when I was doing my credential assessment, not for immigration purpose, but because I wanted to go back to school here, it took a little bit of time, basically because of the communication gap. Okay, so you guys, if you're gonna verify your credentials, you have to sit on it, make sure you're communicating with your school. I mean, yeah, basically you have to do that. Now let's move on. The next thing on the list is you have to prove that you have enough money to support your transition into the community. I've made a video about how much money you need, because when you're doing this immigration program thing, the amount of money you need actually differs. You know, if you it all differs. If you have 5 people in your family, the amount of money you have will be different from those who have just 2 people in their family. So when you're talking about family configuration, the husband, the wife, the children are also included. So if you have 4 people total in your family, the amount of money you need will be different. I'm going to link the video to that so you guys can watch it and you can understand the amount of money that you need for you to immigrate or to apply to this program. Now another thing which is also very, very key is that you have to have the intention, you know, to live in those communities. Those communities need people, so that's the purpose of this program. So if you're coming to Canada and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna come to Canada and then I'll go to Toronto, I'll go to where my friends are, that's not the essence of this program. So this program, really, those communities need people, and you must have the intention, you know, to live in that community if you land in Canada. Now the next thing is you have to meet the community specific requirements. So you need to meet the community specification, and this differs from community to community. I am going to be making videos based on communities, and today I'm going to be shooting for that for most job. There are so many job opportunities for those who are interested in coming, so stay tuned for that video. And you guys, when it comes to community requirements, I can't just, you know, buckle them up. All I can't just put all of them in this video because it differs and this video is going to be too long. So what's going to happen is I'm going to tackle each community and teach you guys the step by step of how you can apply to any community that you might be interested in, or any community that has a job that you qualify for. Now let's go over to the next step. So the next step, or the next thing you have to do, is to find a job. Okay, because this program is all about, they have vacancy. Okay, they have looked for people in Canada. They couldn't fill those vacancies. Now they are looking for people, even though you are outside Canada or wherever in Canada, even if you're outside or inside Canada. But basically they have advertised, that's the first step, they have advertised in Canada. They could not fill those positions. That is why they are now putting it in this program. So the next thing is for you to find a job. So for the kind of job that qualify for this program is you have to find an eligible job with an employer in one of the participating communities. Okay, there are specifications for the job offer. You must have a job offer that is from an employer that carries on a business in that community. So if you are interested in working in Mosjour or living in Mosjour, you must get a job offer from Mosjour employer. That's not a problem because those jobs are there. It's just for you to go and apply. The job from an employer that carries out their business in the community, the job must be a full-time job and it must not be seasonal jobs. In Canada we have some of these seasonal jobs, some of these farm jobs, but that's not the kind of job they're looking for. And if you check the adverts on those websites, you see that there is no seasonal job there. If anybody is offering you a seasonal job for this program, do not accept. But so far I've gone through all those websites, I didn't see any seasonal job advertised there. So the job offer you're supposed to get is not supposed to be for a specific period of time. What that means is it's not a 3-month job or a contract job. It must be a permanent job. And if you go to those websites, you see that all those jobs, they are full-time jobs. Nobody's offering you contract job. And again, the job you're getting should be at the same skill that you already have. That's the same experience that you have, or one level above the skill you have, or one level below the skill you have. I also want you guys to know that if your experience is in NOC skill D, then the job you are being offered must be in the same occupation. For example, NOC 0 job offer, work experience in, like NOC, if you are going through the NOC 0 job offer, it must be work experience in, you must have work experience in NOC 0 or A. So if you are going for NOC A job offer, you must have work experience in NOC 0, A or B. Now let's talk about step 3. Now in step 3, it is now time when you get your job offer, you've applied and you've gotten all the requirements. You have to pay attention, make sure it's full-time job, it's not seasonal, and the job matches your experience from wherever you are coming from. Once you have your job offer, then you submit your application for recommendation to the community. If the community recommends you, now it's time for you to apply for the permanent residency. If the community recommends you, now you have to go and apply for your permanent residency. Now one thing I want to say is I'm going to make videos for all the communities that I've mentioned. Okay, one of those videos that is going to come out maybe the same time or this week is that of Mosjour. So Mosjour is in Saskatchewan. I'm going to make that video for you guys so that you guys can see a lot of vacancies in Mosjour, and they're actually looking for people to come over and apply. Some of those vacancies have been there for a while. I don't know if people know about this program or people that are not interested. I don't know, whatever it is, but you guys just stay tuned for that video. If you love videos like this, please thumbs up, share with your friend and family. Don't be stingy with information. All I beg of you is to please share this video to those who need them, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.